One of the biggest stories this week was Atlantic Records restructuring, where the company laid off around 270 people, which is about 4% of their staff. 3 top-level executives were also announced to be exiting the company. Julie Greenwald, which I mentioned in episode 2, Max Lasada, Kevin Liles, which is the current chairman and CEO of 300 Elektra Entertainment, who is also the founder of 300 Entertainment. Kevin is announced to be stepping down at the end of September and will remain as a consultant until the end of the year. Another name that you might be familiar with is Michael Kaiser. He was the president of Black Music at Atlantic Records. He's also leaving as well. On top of this, there were a bunch of different nasty conspiracy theories on why a lot of these executives were stepping down. Specifically with Atlantic Records or Warner Music in a whole, this started back in February. If you might remember, it cut about 10% of its staff, mostly from the company's media side, i.e. Uproxx and Hip Hop DX. They ended up selling Uproxx, Hip Hop DX, and Dime Magazine. But if you look a little bit closer, you'll figure that this started a little bit before that. There were rumors that there were a few superstars at the label that they refused to re-sign because they demanded a lot more than they were willing to give. And those artists ended up leaving the label. And since then, the label has been super conservative with signings. But I also think within the strategy of cost cutting, they were willing to invest in one area, to buy an aggregator. I saw someone post on Instagram a few days ago that they think Warner Music Group would eventually sell to UMG. And I personally think that there's less than a 1% chance of that happening. And I believe that they're aiming to buy an aggregator like Tunecore or Distrokid. It was reported in March that they were interested in spending $1 billion to buy Tunecore parent company Believe, but they ended up dropping out of the bid. There is a possibility that that may still happen, or maybe they'll buy Distrokid. But I think that's their end game, to buy an aggregator. Lastly, there's been mass layoffs at every major label, but Sony hasn't had the same type of turnover. So I wouldn't believe the conspiracies. Warner Music Group is expected to save around $260 million annually from the 750 jobs cut this year throughout the company, according to Billboard. Like, there's so many people just sharing conspiracy theories for clicks. Make sure you do your research before you kind of add on to the actual train of these conspiracies. So be mindful of that. So with that being said, let's get back to the music videos. You're now watching Valholla NOW Radio. Let's go.